Welcome to the Chat Box, everybody, your mental health podcast for Eagle County. We're super happy to be here at High Five Access Media. I'm Liz, my co-host Jen. We have a very special guest today, Sharon from Reconnected Foundation. And there's a reason why we have you here today, not only because we want to show everybody what you guys do over there, but there are so many different ways to reach out if you are struggling. And it doesn't have to necessarily be, there are drugs and alcohol that take place in a lot of things with our daily lives, but there's reasons why that comes about. So we can dive into how many types of people can join in on Reconnected Foundation and what they can get out of it, because this benefits everybody. It's not just like an AA type scenario. This is a way for people to express themselves and be amongst people with like-minded interests and like-minded habits, correct?
Well, yeah, I'd like to say that I think people are waking up to the fact that alcohol is absolutely poison for you. It's bad for your body. It's not good for, your social relation. I mean, in so many ways it can be so destructive. And so I love Reconnected because it's just it provides a safe space where you don't have to drink alcohol. You don't have to have some kind of, substance to alter your mood to connect with people and to do fun things. And so, I think it's absolutely incredible. And so we would love to hear from you and how you came to start this. And, you're kind of...
You are the CEO.
Yeah.
So, that sounds so important. Where's your briefcase, man? Where's your briefcase? No briefcase here.
Just running shoes
but
and some
the
jeans.
the coolest thing is your briefcase is just an outward thing for the community, and that's why we like it. And when getting back to your point, alcohol, a lot of things are poison. But when we're trying to numb or escape, we go that direction. And it's sad, but I mean, now after talking to you for a little bit and meeting a few other people from Reconnected, there's so many outlets that you can do that if you are struggling with something emotional, you don't have to turn to one of those substances. You can turn to so many things. And I know that you guys have an array of stuff that we could all do and enjoy. And I'm ready to hear about how you got started with Reconnected first, like Jen said, and then how we fix the community.
Help us.
I mean, we've already had a plane crash and a shooting today. A plane crash yesterday, a shooting today. So let's try and maintain a little.
Yeah. Well, no, I think like how we got started was, I was lucky enough to grow up here, and in that same breath, like lucky enough or unlucky enough to like struggle with substance use and addiction here. And what that really looked like was like a lack of resources available to me, right?
Nice.
And to so many of my friends. So it was like one therapist in the Lion's Head parking structure. Like that was like where they took you back.
And he was like in a little booth, like a kissing booth, right? He had to stand in line.
Yeah, it was like, oh man. And so, and lucky enough for me, I was able to like get sober young in college.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't by like power of my own self. It was because I was lucky enough to be at CU Boulder, which is not the place where one thinks of someone getting sober. And we had on campus there was this thing called a collegiate recovery program, which was a resource much like what Reconnected is today. It's like Reconnected is just. My friend says like do like R&D, like research and development. But he says like rip off and do better. So like Reconnected is just like a rip off of like what
CU does.
CU does, and in so many places all over.
But it's
the country.
It's the highest form of compliment to take an idea and run with it.
Exactly.
But also, you filled such like a needed like niche like in this valley. Like there's nothing like that here, and so like I feel like it's so necessary and amazing that you did that, and you saw the need and you filled it.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. What drove you? Besides having been there, done that, rode the T-shirt, or I rode a T-shirt.
I was like, what does that mean?
It was really, really hard. But you need starch. Let's go back. So at a young age, you were obviously escaping and doing all the numbing fun things and all that. But what started you on the road not only to help others, but realize that was what was a way to help yourself?
Yeah, I think that's like a question everyone wants. So many people want to know is like what happened and like what
Doesn't always. You don't always have to hit rock bottom for.
right?
Yeah, no.
And so, like, on paper, I should have got sober when I was 21. I got sober when I was 24. Like, I was
Ooh, you
like,
poor soul. He's such a baby.
but it was like in those 18 months before turning 21, it was like in and out of jail 7 times.
Wow, you don't look thuggy.
So, yeah, I wouldn't have lasted, so I didn't go to prison.
Oh, thank goodness.
I was
Yeah.
just county jail.
Don't drop the soap.
Yeah, exactly. Unless that's your thing.
No judgment here.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's soap on a rope, it's a different story.
But I think it had to be like it was like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it didn't really look like a problem for me.
Yeah, it was more
like
fun.
Lifestyle.
Social.
This is what I do. This is how I connect with my friends, and like the majority, at least half of my friends had worse of a problem than I.
Okay,
like if
good.
I could point like around and be like, well, I don't need to get sober. Like,
Look at that guy.
Anybody needs to
Throwing
get
up in
sober.
his shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I was only supposed to get I was like gonna change a little bit for like a few months. Like,
I gotcha.
Like get my act together.
Yeah.
And, like, nah, I don't know, maybe go full sober. But I'd like had experimented with like whatever dry Januaries before,
Okay.
like quitting smoking weed for a little bit,
Yeah.
like quitting harder drugs, and so. This time I was like, maybe I'll just like fully get sober for like 9 months
Like
until
all
I
of it.
graduate college,
Wow.
and then that'll help. And through that 9-month period, I kind of come to realize like, oh, maybe it's not just a phase. Like I don't need to just like mature and learn how to drink like normally, because that's what I really thought. I thought like maybe I just hadn't learned to drink like
To
a
moderate.
mature adult.
Yeah.
And I was still young, and I just like was so lucky for that like resource on CU's campus.
I
'Cause
love that.
I could say like, show me another CU student that's sober, and like it doesn't exist. It's an anomaly. Very much so. Like, show me another ski bum that like is sober. Like,
Yeah.
and someone who lives in Vail that doesn't party.
Oh, I know. There's always something strapped to that belt. It doesn't know. We don't know what it is, but there's a substance or two strapped to the belt.
Yeah. And so, like, I just didn't know it existed. And, like, if it existed a certain way in my mind of, like,
Right.
boring, lame, not like me.
Wow.
Like, how am I going to have fun with my friends? Like,
Absolutely.
Right. And I mean, I think that's a lot of people's thought process. They're like, what will I do to fill the void? And how will I have fun without it? Because if I'm feeling awkward,
right.
I can't enjoy myself.
Right.
But how did it come out for you?
Well, I mean, I wish it was like an upward trajectory and it was nice and clean.
No,
and
that's
it was,
not
like,
life,
for
okay?
sure not it.
No, it's not life.
I resisted, like, even being in Boulder metro area, like tons of resources. Like I was on my 7th year of college, so like the super duper senior route. Like,
You're teaching the younger ones what to do.
yeah. All my siblings took note. They were all younger and like, do not do it, Robert. So,
Do as I say, not as I do.
but I think more so just like figuring out, okay, I'm not going to go to rehab. Like that was not something I was open-minded enough
Not
to
at
do.
all,
Like
okay.
that was like, okay, but I don't want to ask for that much help, Okay,
So
Like,
I
and
want to get an idea.
like let me, like I'm
Right.
curious over here. Like
So
let me
he was
see
like,
what's
"Buy
available."
sober.
Yeah, exactly.
Sober curious,
Exactly. And
Sober curious.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
That's
was.
cute.
And show me some other people that are doing it, and like if they're cool enough for me to hang out with,
Okay.
like, I'll give that a shot.
Wow, this
like-
is
You
interesting.
had to vet them.
Yeah, very much so. Do you ski? If so, like tell me about your skiing, because that was like a huge part of my identity.
Right.
Was, like,
Totally.
and like in my early recovery, that was like a tough thing, because like skiing was like my thing that I loved to do, and I was like I could ski with my friends
But
that smoke weed on every chairlift and all that, who actually know how to ski, or I could ski with these sober people that I had just met that are from Boulder, that kind of ski.
and there's also this thought process. You're going 50 miles an hour at an 85-degree angle towards a tree. You really don't want to be all stoned because you're like, ouch, cool, a tree. Boom. No, I don't know. I just think that keeping your wits about you, doing a dangerous sport is really just, I know people bring Glühwein up there and they take their bottles of wine and stuff. I'm like, what? I can't even imagine. I can't ski sober, so I can't even imagine skiing hammered.
Right. But it's part of the culture.
It
right? It's
is.
just
I
like
guess
the
so. I
thing.
guess
That's like,
I was so bad at skiing, I never joined the culture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have helped.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't have hurt my neck for the rest of my life, But I don't know. So, all right. So you have us on your journey of semi-recovery. So how did it stick? And what made you realize that you enjoyed that feeling as opposed to the other feeling?
Great
Yeah.
question.
I think, like I was like a year and a half in. I kind of came up with this crazy idea, like a few months in, to my sobriety, I was gonna drive my scooter from here to Alaska. Actually.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
moped?
gonna be my journey,
Like a peace tour.
yeah, 1,000,000%. And so I graduated college and then worked for a year up here as an electrician for my dad and saved
nice.
some cash, and then bought the scooter and
No,
drove,
you really
drove
did
to
this?
Alaska. Yeah.
How long did it take you?
Oh my God, he's boot
3
scooting
months.
on the
3
way.
months?
3
Oh,
months.
3 months.
Did you have? I mean,
Like a tent. Like I had a bag with my tent.
yeah.
Sleeping
Okay.
bag.
I mean, obviously the
little
tent
jet
wasn't up
boil.
when you were riding the scooter.
No.
But what did you?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Could you-
25 miles an hour. Not
What
that
is the most insane thing that hit your face on the road trip?
woodpecker.
A woodpecker. I told you I knew something in his
dude.
face.
Yeah.
Did
in
it peck
Canada.
anything?
No.
You really got hit in the face by the woodpecker?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a spirit animal.
I happen to laugh like that. I don't know why. But that's insane. No, it didn't drill a little hole or anything. You
No,
were safe.
It was fine.
Oh my God, 3 months from here to Alaska on a moped.
Right.
And you camped out amongst the
Yeah.
terrain?
The whole way. Just,
Completely sober.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow, I don't know if I could be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that too. I don't even
Patrol
drink.
didn't think I was sober. They were like, there's no way. There's no way.
This is a
Like,
crazy mission
yeah,
that requires
exactly. You can't
altered
be sober
states,
to
yeah.
do this. Like,
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, wow. Well, I love this. So we're going to retract a little bit because I have to hear about this. What happened when you got to Alaska? You just
Yeah.
turn around and come back, or?
well, I think like on the way and the whole idea of driving the scooter, there was a few things like I find myself on that scooter. It only goes 25 miles an hour.
I know. I can't
right?
believe you're doing a scooter.
So you're just going so slow. All you have time to do is think. And I thought I'd master my mind
Yeah.
on this. Like I'd learn to meditate.
Wow.
learn to be at peace with myself. Like
Really?
the scooter was very intentional because you couldn't speed through your problem. You couldn't get to your destination.
No, there was no
for
way you
the
could haul
day,
ass
right?
anywhere.
You're just going.
Wow,
love
that's
that.
amazing. It's like a scooter mentality.
Right.
Think about it. You could have bought a bike. I
Right.
mean, like a motorcycle bike,
Yeah,
whatever.
1,000,000%.
I mean,
Most people were trying to convince me to do so just
But you
because it'd be
did-
safer and.
Did
all
you
the stuff.
know that was going to transform and transpire in your brain when you were going 22 miles an hour putting down the highway? Were you knowing before you took the journey? Did you know that was why you wanted to get
Oh yeah.
a 22 mile an hour putt?
Yeah.
Wow! So you did it intentionally.
Because right when I got sober, like being on a college campus, what do you do Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Tuesday
Drink and get
night?
laid.
Right, exactly. And so, when everyone's pre-gaming at my house, beer pong, at my house, I'd be like, fuck this, I want to get out of here. And I had a scooter, so I'd get on my scooter and just
so you had
go and drive.
prior scooter
and I'd drive
experience.
up, the Flatirons outside of Boulder. And it was like this meditative experience.
Wow! I can
Because you're
see
going
it.
so slow, you
Yeah.
don't need to pay attention to the
Right.
road.
Wow!
You can just see it in your peripherals because you're going so
Just
slow.
watch out for
and
birds.
You can
Apparently.
just enjoy. And so I was like, okay, this.
Wow.
And then it's actually just last week was the 12-year. It's crazy. The 12-year anniversary of Tony Seibert passing away.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yeah.
And I was in school with Tony. We were the only two really left from our age group that were still in school.
We used to hold annual parties for him at Montana's. It's a place that's closed down since, but
Chase Bank.
well, I think I think somebody owes Chase Bank a lot of money.
Yeah. And
But
so,
I remember so fondly, all of you guys were just such an amazing crew that got together every year for an honor of him.
and he was gonna go. Like we had this idea, like let's move to Alaska.
Oh my God.
And so when he passed away, I had like that one semester left, and it was like, oh, I just drove my moped up to Alaska now, and that's kind of where.
Oh, was he with you? Did you feel his presence
for
with
sure.
you?
Like brought his ashes up, and we spread them like at
Oh my God, the story
Alyeska
just
with
keeps
a couple
getting better.
friends.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know. Gosh, that's amazing.
And like then there was a giving part, like part of sobriety and recovery. Like people say, like you got to give it away to keep it. And
What does that mean?
It's like this concept of
Buy
like,
vodka and give it to somebody on the road?
yeah. No, less
There you
like
go.
that. That
I
would
feel
be
better
good.
about myself.
More so like being of service to others, right?
Oh, I understand.
Like,
Well, like what we
like,
do.
to get out of yourself is gonna help you. Like if you're of service to others, maybe you're like thinking less about yourself, which is
nice.
it's nice. You
Yeah,
get a
we all
break
need a break.
from your
If I could
obsession.
take a breather from my whole entity, I would. But you can't get away from yourself. It's
You
so
can't.
annoying.
You can't. And so that was kind of like the jam in the beginning was like, okay, I'll raise money to start a scholarship for sober kids at CU.
Oh.
I'll go to Alaska
You're
because that's where I wanted to
amazing.
move.
Gosh.
I'll take the scooter because that's how I'm going to find myself.
Oh my
It'd be so sick if it worked out that way, and if it like worked out the way I planned. And I
Nothing
think
does, though.
never ever.
But
But
other
exactly
doors
how it's
open.
supposed to, right?
Yeah,
And
you
like-
end up where you're
Absolutely.
supposed to be, whether you thought it was going to happen or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And like maybe the first it was a little bit rocky. It was like really rainy. It was a little bit
Oh my
rainy, like extremely rainy, like the wettest May ever. Like,
You see one of
it
those
was
ponchos.
like terrible in the beginning, and then then I like stopped at different high schools, like Red Canyon
Oh,
here
really?
locally, and like
You did talks?
Yampa, and like I was brand new to this whole recovery thing, and hadn't like done all that much work on myself, so it was like just a bunch of pent up energy.
But it probably was even more organic because you weren't going by the book of anybody.
Yeah,
You weren't going
for
by
sure.
anybody's advice or knowledge. You were just using your own impulses.
Yeah.
And,
And high school kids love impulsive speaking.
Oh,
thinking,
they like
acting.
impulsive anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
that's how I ended up smoking weed in high school.
So I was lucky enough to like even be let in the high schools to talk because I was like so crazy. But
Yeah.
like maybe made an impact. Who knows? You know, actually I do know because some kids still followed me on Instagram and will like
nice.
reach out 10 years later and let me know like how it impacted.
Oh,
their
that is
lives, which
impressive.
pretty tight.
That really is. Do you plan on any more fun road trips in the future?
I don't know, like
annual
about that one.
pilgrimage.
I swear, I would almost get on
faster
a
bike.
ped and do it with you.
If I had a crew,
A
Wouldn't that be-
reconnected crew.
that would be
I like
that'd be
this.
much
The
better. if we could
reconnection.
get like a crew to set up some.
I might need to go about 35 miles an hour.
Okay, that's fine. They make them all speeds, all
I know.
CCs.
Scooters are scary, but I love them. They're fun. No, I'm super impressed with you already. We haven't even gotten to how you kicked off Reconnected, but this is just such a great backstory for everybody to understand you. I'm sure a lot of people locally know who you are because you did grow up here and you partied with a lot of them and they're probably still looking going, yeah, I gotta get my crap together. But
Yeah. We're talking about you. If you're listening, you've been mentioned. And we're here, and
we're
it's
here.
not as scary.
and if you don't
it's
think we're
not
talking
lame,
about
and
the
you
guy
can
next
do
to
it.
you, it's you.
Yeah, exactly.
And look, everybody goes at their own pace and everybody figures themselves out when it's the right time. I mean, I have to deal with a friend who goes up and down, in and out of recovery or just the process of trying to be sober. And I feel like sometimes you have to really be scared for these people because how many times are they going to go off and not come back one time?
Right.
So I just get very afraid for people that have been, especially for a really long time. I mean, I have to say, because we used to have that restaurant I was talking about, I know 10 people who have lost their lives to either purposely doing it with drugs and alcohol or accidentally doing it with drugs and alcohol. I know 10. I'm up there with 10. Okay. It's like, are you flipping kidding me? And I know a lot of the people your age know even more than that.
Right.
And you probably know everybody I know because you probably came to my bar.
Yeah.
But
very much so.
I bet. But what I'm saying is that it is good that people can work on their own timeline, but there is still a matter of time that everybody has to really be aware of.
Well, and I think that's why programs like Reconnected are so important.
Yeah.
Because being sober is hard because you're having to replace something that gets rid of your pain or makes you feel enmeshed.
And how
or makes
do you
feel
do that?
comfortable. Well, you have to build in connections. You have to have a support system and a team, and so that's why I love Reconnected because not only do you do events or have activities you can do, but you also have like one-to-one support, which I think is absolutely incredible.
What is that one-to-one support? What do you mean? Like somebody you can go to talk to? Like an
Yeah.
individual human?
Yeah, like a therapist, but not a therapist.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
no, but
recovery
sometimes your
coach.
peers.
So it's a peer. It's
Right.
someone who has experience in active addiction and in recovery.
gosh.
And like doesn't have an agenda of what your recovery is going to look
So
like.
let me ask
and
you a
how get
question.
there.
I'm a person that,
What you just said though is super important.
yeah, I actually
Yeah.
didn't mean to step on it because
Mm-hmm.
it was. You can say it again.
Yeah. I think that like these coaches, they don't have an agenda of what your recovery or your
Yeah.
recovery should look like. And
Yeah.
they're not like just because
Like,
if
this
when
is how
I'm
you have
coaching
to do
someone,
it.
it's
Right.
not like this is how I did it and so you should be able to do it too.
Totally.
I
It's
get
more
that.
so like what do you want your recovery
I
to look
got
like?
it, yeah.
Does that mean yes to this substance and no to these 3 substances?
Right.
Okay, let's
Hey.
where are they going to find somebody that's like, okay, you don't want to do cocaine and drink hard liquor anymore, but beer and weed is fine. Like, okay, let's try it.
Hey, at least it's better
How
than the
many
cocaine
days-
and the hard stuff,
right.
you know?
Like how many days a week and what time during the day?
So they're not judging at all.
Often. No, it's just like someone to be your secretary or hold you accountable. Like write down what you're thinking,
Mm-hmm.
write your little plan down, and then like hold you accountable to it.
Okay.
And maybe just remind you the next week, hey, you said you were going to smoke weed only after 5 p.m. Like, how'd that go? Oh, you did it? Yeah. And it's working? Great. You're more productive at work. Healthier relationships?
amazing.
Great. Like that's awesome. And then like, oh, you're going to just drink beer like only on Friday and Saturdays? Like
How's
and
that
only
going?
8 to 10? Great. Is it working? And if it is, great. Like let's keep like how can we support you?
Yeah, and it's
continue
pushing
that?
it mildly
Right.
without the person really feeling pressured about it. So I really like that
Right.
about. Now, I do have a very important question.
Mm-hmm.
I am a person that used to turn to the same way you did, but
Mm-hmm.
for a lot longer. God. I would turn to substances to just get away from all the darkness and all the crap and all the feelings. And I've done a very good job of managing to stay. I feel like I'm pretty damn sober. I do pot every once in a while, but for the most part, I don't drink. I don't like drugs anymore. I'm really so much better than I ever was. And I'm watching things happen right now that are getting me absolutely incensed, depressed, massively emotional, and I don't know how to. Right? Like, where's my outlet? Because I don't want to turn to the things I used to turn to when I was in this frame of mind. And so now I have you sitting in front of me, and you now can tell me that I don't have to turn to all the substances that I used to turn to numb myself. You have other ways because of Reconnected, and that's what we need to know right now. Like, why, how, and help.
SOS.
SOS.
Yeah, SOS. Yeah, I think like especially right like with the amount of access we have to information that brings up emotional responses
Correct.
on minutely, like every second, right?
You're so
like
right.
Scrolling, doom scrolling, and the algorithm feeds, and how do you like break that trap, right? And like a cliche that we use and really like. A foundational like tenet of Reconnected is like this concept of like the opposite of addiction is connection.
Ooh,
Right? And
I like that.
I love that.
And
I think it's so
so-
true.
what, and that's not original, that's by this guy, Johan Hari. And I'm sure
Johan, yeah.
Right. And like he ripped it off somebody, but he really did an amazing job breaking it down.
I like
and
that.
like backed it with science and like, got these rats addicted to cocaine and like in the
Poor
cocaine
rats.
rat park, right? And
So
like,
rude.
But like in isolation, versus like in like a rat park.
Well,
is
they
what he
didn't
called
throw
it.
him out into Central Park after getting them all high on coke, right?
But like, what he found
When the
was,
rats
like,
attack.
Right. When these rats are hanging out with one another, like,
Yo,
there's
gotta
a
smoke.
better chance that they're not going to use the cocaine.
I think I
Really?
saw that.
Wow, how is that? Because of pure.
Because the opposite of addiction is connection.
They choose to be with fellowship over the addictive.
being on the corner all high by themselves, looking
themselves,
gacked
exactly.
out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's something different than
I'm a visual of a
like,
rat now.
scrolling on your phone and getting like all these emotions kind of out of whack.
Oh
right?
God,
Like,
yeah, and then you just like, I want to reach for something, but there's nothing to reach for because I don't have it around me anymore. I do not
Right.
partake, which is great. And I know myself, I'm of the age now where I know I work it out, but there's a lot of people that can't. There's not a lot of people that can differentiate between addiction and connection. They're like, I don't like the way I feel. Boom.
Well, if you think of the nature of social media, it is very isolating. Like you can get, your little hits of dopamine from doom scrolling and like feel like you're having some kind of an experience just sitting in your room for hours, having your content changing over and over. But ultimately, you are still isolated. You're not with community. You're not giving anything.
Right.
You're not receiving anything.
And a lot of
necessarily.
people are doing that, aren't they? I doom scroll
But-
while I drive. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, some people do, but like the point is that like you're tricking your brain into kind of the addictive like mindset instead of like getting out of that and connecting with people and being amongst people
Right.
and giving kind of what you were saying earlier. Getting out of your brain and being of service, like those are the things that those are like the opposite of addiction that keep you
Yeah.
from that isolated in your brain, in yourself.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you're saying, it's almost like the opposite of addiction is coming out of your brain and into the world and actually engaging with people and service.
Yeah,
And
but see, that's so good because a lot of people lately are addicted to anger and upset and unrest. So there's other ways to channel your energy, to make yourself feel better, and to really end up finding out that you could be part of an entire new community.
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and community is what keeps us strong, and it's what's keeps us connected. And
Yeah.
when you think of like the phrase like it takes a village, and how like communities used to feel stronger, it used to be easier to raise children because you had a village,
Yeah.
and now like these days it's culturally more acceptable to kind of live on your own little island and only focus on your nuclear family or your yourself, and like not really being engaging with
Right.
your community unless
I know, and you can try that. You can say, "Oh, I'm just going to live in a bubble. I'm not going to think about anything else or anybody else and do anything else, but just be in my." But it's very isolating, and you do end up in a mental state that's not really healthy. And you got to communicate with people. You've got to be in some sort of organized schedule of your life, because if you're not and you just sit and think about everything, because I know I can do that, I can sit and think about all the crap going on in this world, and it makes me like, why am I still here, like it's too much. But now you can contact you guys over at Reconnected, and you can get involved in so many different things. So why don't you take it from the beginning and let us know what kind of activities that you decided to bring into Reconnected Foundation, and what made you realize that they were something that worked to get people together and make people turn around a little bit?
Right. Yeah, I think, in the beginning, and not even in the beginning, like still sometimes, like
it sounds so biblical.
In the beginning. I'm thinking of a classic rock song.
we started off as just like a bunch of friends wanting to do fun stuff together.
Oh, I
like
love
it was
that.
that
That's
simple.
great.
It was like, oh, cool. And like a bunch of us were into running, ultra running, and like that's actually like the fundraiser that kicked us off and got us started. And then like some of that has like kept up. So last year, like a
Wow.
bunch of us ran like the Leadville 100 and other marathons
I love
and
that.
different races together. And so sometimes we get like mistaken for like a sober run club.
Running club.
Oh, that's
I'm like,
hilarious.
no. We do so much more than just like run and fuck off in the woods
Yeah.
with our friends. And right, like running 100 miles is not for everybody, and that can be really intimidating. And that's by no means what we're
Can't even
like trying
ride a
to
bike
do.
that far.
But I think like of course, living in the mountains, I think for sure the majority of people that choose to live here do so because of the access to activities. But addiction and whatever their lifestyle, like for sure takes them away. I was talking to some guy who's like involved with Reconnected now, and he's lived here for 8 years, just got a split board this year, have talked about getting a split board every year. And he just skinned last Thursday night for the first time.
Wow,
and
finally,
he's
hey.
like a year and change sober, maybe 2 years sober now.
It took that long,
but it took that
worked.
long, right? And for him to like,
Now he's probably hooked.
he was stoked. He made it to the top, and like there's accomplishment in that, and that's like an event led by this awesome like community member. Her name's Kate Music, and she started something called like Healthy Happy Hour. And like on Thursdays during the winter, they skin, up Beaver Creek.
So you have to
the
literally
fireworks.
go up a hill.
Yeah. And then in the
I'll meet you at
summer,
the
they
top.
play pickleball. It's a little more inclusive.
Pickleball is definitely my game. I can do that.
But then even more so, like on Thursday this week, we have like knitting kicking off. So when like people are like, "Oh, you're just like an active," I'm like,
I wanna know how
"No, we
people
got
can
arts and
knit."
crafts, we got knitting, we got other opportunities. Yoga. Is
See, I
happening
love arts and
tonight.
crafts, by the way. I think that there is nothing more cathartic than to sit down and try and create something, even if it turns out funny or not the great. You did it. It's empowering, and it's also meditative because you have to concentrate on what it is you're doing. So it gets all your concentration. You're not thinking about anything else but this little thing that you're creating, whether it's pottery or drawing or painting or dripping, all that stuff. I love to go to the art place. You got me a gift certificate too. And I just, you can explore all of those avenues. And I'm trying to think about knitting because for somebody who's really hyperactive and can't sit still, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, probably be really good for you.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, I can't even imagine starting it, though. I'd be like, no, I am.
Teach you, and so it's guided too. So you have.
Oh,
people that,
really?
yeah, even support you like in the craft and like help you. Yeah.
Because we know somebody that would sit in a meeting or like in the theater production, and we'd have like a 4-hour gathering, and that person made a sweater sitting there. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, seriously, it's just boom, right like that. And so, like, I can't even imagine doing that.
Right.
But it's really cool. And what else? Okay, besides arts and crafts and the outdoor stuff, I know there's even more stuff where you can push yourself harder and get out of your comfort zone.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's constantly switching, right? Like
Yeah.
I said, like this summer, there was a bunch of us that signed up for different marathons and trained together,
Wow.
and for sure the skinning, and now there's like one of my favorite things about Reconnected is like if there's a community member that's showing up consistently and they have an idea, we'll empower them.
Ooh,
I love
right?
that.
So
That's
we had a
amazing.
community member. He's like really involved. He was like, "Hey, I want to start a workout class, and I belong to this gym." So now we have Friday night workouts.
What?
7 p.m. at Endorphin in Eagle, and they've donated their space, and like it's like great. Now there's a Friday night alternative.
I
and,
love
like,
that. That's great. I just wish it was closer because in the winter I'm scared to do.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to bring up the fact that you've done things with the barn and Minturn as well.
Right. We did our like New Year's Eve
Yeah,
party there.
and that was really cool because
very
I
cool.
mean, you would think sober New Year's Eve party, but I actually wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go. I wanted to go, but tell me how that went.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was really inspiring to see that another organization within the Vail Valley was like taking an initiative to like plan something alcohol-free alternative programming that wasn't like a B or C grade. Like,
Totally.
event,
Exactly.
Like sometimes when you have to make the decision to refrain from using or whatever, it's like you get put in the nosebleeds or just like you're the redheaded stepchild or whatever. You're just like the odd one out.
Right.
You don't get the same like treatment or experience as those. And so I think like the barn really stepping up and having that
great.
sober New Year's Eve party that we could tag along to.
Did you do any aerial stuff?
Not that night, but
See, sober aerial would be fine.
Yeah.
Drunken aerial, no.
Yeah.
How can you imagine?
I can. But yeah, and so like being able to team up with different
Yeah.
organizations that are helping.
Same-minded. And it goes back to what Jen said earlier. There's a lot of people that are starting to wake up to the effects of alcohol, the carcinogens, the anger issues that come from it, and the depression and the poison
Anxiety.
inside.
Yeah,
It's just,
absolutely.
it's really bad. But I do think you're onto something, because I do feel like there's a wave of it. Why do they have all these mocktails all of a sudden out and about? And even bars, like if you, or a restaurant, you go to a restaurant, they'll come up and they say, here's our, our liquor menu or whatever. They have specialty cocktails. And they say, and we have very special mocktails on this page. And it's becoming more normalized now than ever.
I've been seeing articles too that are saying like Gen Z is not drinking and
Oh,
they're like
really?
giving it up, and they're opting for more sober programming, more because they are realizing that it's poison. Like they do want healthier, more active lives, and so I
Right.
think a lot of people are waking up to the the
Sure.
negative effects of alcohol and how it can destroy your life, and it's.
That's amazing that the youngest of the generations are the ones waking up before. I know lots of people in my generation still
Certainly
like,
wasn't a thing in mine.
yeah, I mean, they're still drinking their faces off, and they don't seem to look like they're going to change at any time. You know what I mean? But then I know people that have drank for 30, 40 years that have finally just ended it. And the thing that they all say at the same time, or not all together, but different times, but the same thing, is that they love the way they feel when they wake up the next day.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, God, I remember, it's been a long time since I woke up with any kind of hangover or anything like that, but boy, I still can remember that banging the parts. Ugh, it's so gross. It's so gross. So glad I don't go through that anymore, But you're an amazing person for coming through the community and growing up right before everybody's eyes, and not only growing up, but giving back.
Yeah.
Well, and creating such an amazing program that does so much good for so
That's
many.
the giving back,
It really
yeah.
is an anchor point for the sober community, and I think that's just absolutely incredible. I'm newly sober, and so I didn't know like any
Yeah.
alternative anything, and so I think it's amazing that. There's so many cool things you do, like ski training and
Wow.
endurance training, and it just, it's nice to, when you're getting sober, I think it's so super important to have a community that,
And an
and
outlet.
an alternative outlet, and activities that you can do, because life does go on, it's different, but it's so much better than you could ever possibly imagine, and you don't really know that until
You're there.
You're there, but also from having support and in the community, and
Sure.
I think that's why you guys are so important, and what you do is so amazing, and so I think it's going to grow. That's my prediction. For
But
you guys.
I mean,
think
it's
gonna
been
keep
going
getting bigger
on.
and better and more amazing,
And we're going to make sure of that, because
do
you've been
do fundraising. How do you raise your money? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay, honey. I just wanted to know that how long has Reconnected been in?
Yeah. We
area.
started 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so I mean that is still kind of like, I guess, like the birth.
Like a toddler.
Yeah, you're still on the nipple.
Yeah, for sure.
A 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disturbing, by the way. That's a whole new show. I don't know. I know. Anyways, we want Oreos or a nipple. But so for 2.5 years, you guys have been doing such an amazing job. And I feel bad that I've only learned about it since we started the podcast. So this is wonderful outlet for you guys. And we'd love for you to always be able to come back and send somebody new, like somebody that does the art therapy. Show us how. Show us how to do. And somebody, well, I guess we can't really get somebody to come in here and teach us how to snowboard, but or uphill skimo or whatever. But there are people that can come in and talk about the benefits of it. It's still and all. They don't have to actually come in here on a split board and show it, walk up the wall. But I mean, I think that theater of mind plays a big role in something like this, because if people can imagine it, they can attain it.
Right.
Well, I have a question for you. How do you fund your program? How do you raise funds?
Yeah, there's some local grants out that we go for.
Gotcha.
And so through Eagle Valley Behavioral Health and the Cats Amsterdam Foundation, we get 50% of our budget covered by grants, and about the other 50% through fundraising. So
Nice.
That's amazing. What's your next fundraiser going to be?
Well, last year's was this big run that all of us participated in, and so right now we have one going on for Recovery Ski Weekend. So we're gonna February 4th through 7th, we're going to have recovery ski weekend take place where, it's again like opportunity for people in recovery to meet up and ski with each other and have some like regular programming, barbecues on the mountain, après ski with all the mocktails.
Yeah, no Glühwein for you.
Yeah, and
I don't even know.
Oh, it's so gross. You don't want to know.
It sounds nasty.
It's like
it sounds
fermented.
like glue.
It's fermented.
Nice.
It's fermented. Like, can you picture grappa?
Yeah.
Heavy. Bleh. I can't even describe it. It's so gross. It's so gross. But yeah, people do that all the time out here. But that next fundraiser sounds like a lot of fun. Do you have the details on it yet, or do you want to wait and we can give the details when you know everything?
I got the details. I can pass.
You got the deets?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
It'll kick off February 4th on Friday.
Where?
And then we kick off. We do every Friday. Is like we'll kick off with one of our mainstay events, which is like coffee and chats or chairlift chats.
Yes.
And
What is it? Chairlift
Chairlift
chats?
chats at Gorsuch Cafe in Vail at 9 a.m. And so that's where everyone will meet, grab coffee, and then go out about and like ski all day with one another.
Have fun.
And then we'll meet up at like
I just want to go on the chairlift with you guys and then go back down.
You can ride up. You can ride on up.
I always think, remember the show Taxi Cab Confessionals?
Yeah.
I always thought a chairlift would be a great way to also get people to just open up and do something.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
you can maybe parlay your chairlift.
Yeah. There we go.
You know
we'll
what I
bring
mean?
the mic up there.
The chat box chairlift.
Yeah, there you go.
We can join in and video people that want to talk about something on the way up. It would just be fun.
would be.
This is a wonderful experience. And then I'm sure in the summer you do other things. You go rafting or anything like that.
Yeah. We went rafting last year, rock climbing,
Whoa.
all the stuff that we try
That's
to get people
impressive.
to do. Yeah. And so
I
the whole
just-
reason people live here, right? Again, to do things that they hope they do and maybe
Right.
not
And you
the
don't have to
chance.
be crap-faced to do it. I mean, first of all, I think you'd be better at anything you try if you are sober. I tried roller skating last year at my age, and I did fine because I wasn't all shit-faced.
Well, you know what?
but-
I also think that there's value in connecting with people without getting shit-faced
Yeah.
because it's like a more authentic and genuine connection that you're
Definitely.
actually creating. And like, so while it feels scary at first, I think like when you actually become familiar with the community and you start partaking, like, all that kind of goes away and you actually, you find your authentic friends in your community
Sure.
and you find ways that you can contribute as well. So it's like this beautiful symbiotic give and take.
I love
of
that.
authenticity and
But it's just as easy to join a group like what we're talking about as it is to go off and join all the people that want to go smoke weed and rob the liquor store.
I'd say this is harder, actually.
This is harder?
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about that. Because I
mean,
would think it's so
easier
easy
to,
to
like,
be able to connect.
You're new to town. Like,
Yeah.
how do you get a job? Like when you're 24 years old out of college or young and networking, like you go
Okay.
to happy hour, you go get drinks.
Ah,
you
I
bond with your
see what you're
colleagues, you bond with
saying.
your like work coworkers. So
Okay.
it's just like this whole concept of like, cool. I mean, individuals are shifting, right? Like you said, they're waking up to the idea that like, oh, maybe drinking, I need to like decrease the amount, right?
Totally.
And the culture is starting to shift, right?
like that.
Things on mocktails, organizations like ours are popping up.
Yeah.
But I think like an event like Reconnected is constantly like I get texts regularly like, oh, I wish I was sober so I could attend, and it's like, oh, well, like some recovery support meetings might not be the place for you if you don't identify as like having a problem with addiction.
Yeah.
But like chairlift chats, pickleball, like all these other things,
Yeah.
like are a
fun.
space for you.
Absolutely,
And you're
because maybe-
going to have those meaningful connections,
Right.
And so
they
if
might
you're
change their way of thinking.
intentionally looking for that, but I would argue almost every day of the week, it's like if you have some underlying condition, anxiety, depression, or just like want to make small talk, like no one really enjoys small talk all that much, but like a few drinks and small talk is
Yeah,
like
right.
manageable.
It's so
and
weird.
you're like, oh, okay.
It's
I can,
liquid courage.
yeah, and I can
It's
like
liquid
be okay
courage. It
with
just
that.
knocks down all your inhibitions.
And you can be fine with not listening to one another or talking over one another in a loud bar when you're
repeating
drinking.
the same stories.
I know.
over and
Oh
over
my
and over.
God. I know some that you just,
Nah, not me.
And so that's easy to do. That's an easy habit to get in, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you think you're having fun, and you very much so might be having
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, I'm
Like,
not saying
I had
it's
a lot
never
of fun,
fun. Yeah.
like drinking and partying, and those. I don't like shame anybody for doing it, and it's like if it's taking away from your life, if all of a sudden you have all like the I'm going to one day and you never like do, like what's the disconnect, and is that substances? If so, like again, I'm not one for saying everyone needs to be fully abstinent and sober. It's like, how do you look at that in a non-judgmental space where you have the courage and the support to make a shift or a change if that's what's needed? Because some people just need a little bit of a course correction. It's like, I need to stop smoking weed every day, like for a little bit, and like stop looking at porn because I'm getting in trouble with my wife, or like whatever it may
Whatever
be.
the addiction is.
Yeah, and like, and to say that, like, who are you going to be able to like safely like tell that with your drinking buddies? Like, yeah, like my wife caught me looking at porn and it's like really causing a problem in our relationship. And they're just going to be like, yeah, dude, like
Here,
what
have another
website?
shot,
Like,
it's
yeah,
fine.
you know, and like to have somebody truly listen, truly hear,
And understand
then offer
it
a solution
without judgment.
and like hold your hand and walk through it. Even, you know, like with the culture shift and even like therapy's like a big thing, right? Like even 10 years ago, it wasn't like you were like the Tony Sopranos. Remember, he would like meet his therapist like behind.
I'm telling you,
it's
anything
like,
happened in
exactly.
And now
when
it's
we
like
were
a
young,
hip
it was
thing.
like walk it off.
Right.
It was
And I
good.
think in the mountain communities, right, like most people that live here are transplants, right? They've left their family, so they very much so had to like depend on themselves and pull themselves up by the bootstraps. So that, like, I always joke around and say you got to be tough to like live in the mountains, but I truly do believe it. Like the environment shapes like who we are for sure.
You
Like
work hard, you party hard, you play hard. All of it's hard.
Yeah.
But I just feel like what you guys do over there, it not only makes people feel like they're really not alone, you know, like you feel like everything that you're going through is just you. And you can get amongst all of the people that are part of your organization and be like, oh, I am not special after all. You know what I mean? No, I'm unique in that sense.
You just hit it on the head for me, because I remember while I was still drinking, I remember going through hard times and people would be like, oh, like you're not alone. And like it used to piss me off.
But now you don't feel that way.
Dismissive, you know? Yeah, it
But
felt
it's
like,
not.
yeah, like, oh, like, you know, like get over it. Everybody goes through this. But like being part of this community, like I truly, truly feel like I'm not alone. Like all of these people are going through something in some version of, you know, getting over some kind of addiction. They're all trying to live a sober life and committed to, you know, to reconnecting, literally reconnecting. That couldn't be a more perfect
What
name.
a perfect name. God.
With their truth, with their, you know, integrity, with their, you know, the life that is, you know, there for the taking when you're not constantly hungover or under the influence of some kind of substance.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And so it's a good feeling. I truly feel supported, you know, like.
It's funny how you changed your way you thought just from hearing that one sentence, you're not alone. It used to like get on your nerves, and now you're like, I get it.
Now it feels real. It feels
and there's no shame in realizing, waking up to something that you were always trying to build a wall between you and that, you know, and then when that wall breaks down, it's a whole nother side of the wall, and it's beautiful. And for people to open their minds and their hearts to getting a little bit of fun in their lives instead of always just going to a bar every day after work and sitting there and getting drunk and getting
watching
in
your
arguments.
money fly right out
Oh
your
yeah,
wallet.
throwing your money out the door and watching everybody start arguing over stupid things that they don't know what they're talking about, and it's like so nonsensical stuff. But then what if you decide, I'm getting off work and I can't wait, I'm gonna go schemo. I always keep saying schemo. I have no idea why.
Yeah,
but it is a thing. I know it's a thing. I don't know what it is, but I know it's a thing. Yeah,
but you could show up, you'd be accepted.
Bike shorts and schemo. I might go just to spectate.
That'd be kind of cool.
But, you know, even if you have an addictive personality and you're like, how do I break free from addiction? You become addicted to fun and good-natured things and going on hikes and river runs and runs and ski runs and all of the good stuff that ends up in run for some reason. Yeah. But I think that you can always guide your addictive personality where you feel it fits you most. Now, when you're going through crap and you're mad at yourself or you're self-loathing and you don't care enough to give it a try, you're going to be stuck and you got to figure it out. But when you get to the point where you're like, I don't want to be this person anymore, you guys are the place to reach out to, because it's called Reconnected for a reason. You got to reconnect with yourself first. And I think that the final statement that you make to yourself and say, I'm done, but how do I move on? It's easy. Well, like you said, it's not that easy. Right. However, I thought it was easier. However, it is easy to at least go online or pick up a phone and inquire.
Right. There's somewhere to start, and you don't have to figure out alone.
Exactly.
That's the biggest piece.
Right.
And like, it's even if like you're concerned about a loved one, like my least favorite saying is like, well, they just got to hit bottom and they'll be ready. Like, they're not ready until they're ready. And like, there's a ton of truth in that.
Yeah.
But I think collectively as a community with resources, we can.
Why do you have to wait till they hit bottom?
We can just raise it up.
I want to raise my bottom.
Right.
But seriously,
Right.
No, you're right. I mean, why do you have to, when they slip and fall on their face, then they're going to realize, why do you have to wait for them to do that?
Right.
Why not give
there
them
can be creative resources that you're
Sure.
just, there's paid professionals that like work 40, 60 hours a week, like to help people and get creative ways. So like to think that because you've had an experience or someone that's had an experience and it's just limited to like their experiences, it's just pretty ignorant. Like in my opinion, it's like that both can be true. Like for sure, like this experience is what worked for this individual, but it doesn't mean it's applicable to everyone.
Absolutely.
And you should consult free professionals like us and
not,
at least
right?
ask and be like, hey, you got any ideas for like my brother, my loved one, whomever it may be, you know?
And
it
I
doesn't
mean,
mean we'll solve the problem.
No, but
or
it doesn't
be able
hurt
fix
to
it,
give a
but,
call
like,
and open that door.
Right.
And that's what it's really about. Taking that one side, it's kind of like an exercise program. You don't want to do it, you can't, and then you finally open the damn door to the gym and you get into it, and then you're all of a sudden like, I can't believe I've waited this long to do this.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're doing something for yourself. It's empowering, it's cathartic, and it's eye-opening, and it's self-love. Anything that you do when you call up Reconnected and say, I want to go on that fishing tour. I just came up with that.
You're going to have to do that.
Yeah, now we have to get some lures. But I want to go and do that. It's the first step of just giving yourself a little grace and letting yourself open up to ideas that don't have that tunnel vision where you only have to go dark whenever you're feeling a certain way. Right. You can go light. You can go to the light to Reconnected Foundation. Sounds like very culty. But
start one.
Do you guys look for volunteers or anything like that, or do you have a set group of people that take care of us?
We have a set group of coaches that work one-on-one with people. That's like, it's funny, people think we're like constantly doing events, like, maybe 10% of our budget goes to like events.
Okay.
But like the majority of what we do is this one-on-one coaching.
I love that.
And, so we offer that, and we have a handful of coaches to be able to help people. And then we have something we're going to launch this year is what we're calling a recovery-friendly workplace.
Ooh. So,
right, like the best hack for employee, like it's tough to find employees. It's tougher to keep employees here.
Yeah, without a doubt here, especially if there's a big snow dump. I can't make it.
Everyone's constantly sick, whether they're on the mountain or like in the toilet. Like
I got the Rona.
And so I think that like training workplaces that might see, especially in the hospitality industry, like we know those industries struggle with substance use more than most, like training those workplaces to like identify like factors and risk factors,
Wow.
Like
so you're going to go to, are you going to have like workshops, or you're going to go to the restaurants and do?
We're going to go to the restaurants and train them.
Wow.
And like how to support somebody in active addiction, like how to like some intervention techniques, and then how to support somebody new to recovery, right? Like just like they were supporting their employees, so they thought with a shift drink, right?
Yeah, I got to admit, I was like all about
perpetuate,
that
like,
for people to make them feel good at the end of the night. You just said great kitchen guys, especially like they're standing over the picture. I'm like, you know what? You worked your ass off. Go for it, right? And then I come back in the back of the kitchen like, bah!
Right, the cocaine's out.
Then they can't clean up the kitchen.
Right. And so like how do you like if one of those individuals is getting like sober, how do you then support them? And it doesn't have to be a big overhaul of policy. It's like, okay, cool. You can when are your meetings that you need to make if you have to bounce out?
Right.
Like, probably not during the big rush, but like is there some leniency that we can offer you to like help make sure
love that.
you're seen and you feel supported, and we do support you?
Yeah.
You know, it's
And it doesn't have to get too late where you look at your employee and they're like looking through you and you don't know what they're on, or, you know.
right. They've cost you money because like you just
'Cause you have to
trained
get them off
and
the
then
floor.
They
Right.
were caught doing something, and if you don't do something about that, you're a pushover boss. So
Yeah.
you have to fire them. But you just
But
train them.
also, I know,
and
but
who are
if
you
they
gonna
go
get
out and do
them to
something
hire?
stupid, then we're liable
liables,
anyway.
right.
So to be honest with you, what you got up your sleeve is great because you can arm people with new knowledge and maybe be able to depict who would be a problem employee before they hire them.
Right. Or like to find that employee while they're struggling and help them.
Oh,
like,
that's nice.
Right.
I'm like, get rid of
Keep
them before they
along,
even
and,
start.
Like a boss that like is there for you and helps you.
Okay,
like,
that's even
the
a nicer
loyalty
approach.
that you may have, you know. And of course, like sometimes you're gonna have to fire people. And
Oh
that's a
my God, I know
consequence.
all about that.
Like, the
Trust me.
deal,
I mean,
you know,
what
but-
are you on? What are you on?
Right.
So you don't drag them out by their hair and tell them to never come back. You actually try and work with them and make them feel a little
Maybe
better.
that works for some people. You know?
My husband, when we had the restaurant, he had we bailed so many people out of jail for DUIs and stuff. I'm like, maybe we should stop bailing them out. Maybe they shouldn't have it so easy, you know. But then you don't want to let somebody sit there and sulk and be miserable. So we would do our best to get them if they wanted to get into a program or something like that. We actually would do that, but that was just something personal to help somebody out with.
But there's scholarships available.
I
in
didn't
this
know that.
community
I had no
like,
idea.
People that live here qualify for.
Wow.
And if that's like a scholarship to inpatient rehab, great.
Wow.
There's other resources that are available here. There's intensive outpatient, so therapy, group therapy specific to substance use 3 nights a week for 3 hours, and like insurance covers it. Vail Health offers it.
Wait,
as
go back.
well as
Insurance covers
Insurance
it?
covers it. Yeah, there's 2 Revolution recovery services as well right here in Avon. And then there's like intervention. There's local people that do interventions.
Right.
So it's not just up to the loved one to have the difficult conversation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to look like the family sitting in a circle reading the letters. It can look very covert almost. Like there's a multitude of different ways for it to look
The
like.
covert operation. I have a question for you also. If people are involved in Reconnected, now I know it's different than having a sponsor, but let's say somebody in your group feels lost or they're about to do something that they really don't want to do, but they don't, you know, or they're feeling really bad about themselves or whatever. Is there like a connection in Reconnected that they could maybe make a phone call? So like if they're worried and they don't think that they're strong enough to make it through the night, let's say.
For sure.
There's
Within
a connection
reason, they
where
can
they
reach
can-
out to that coach.
that's nice.
Right? And if that coach is unavailable, they've already been plugged into, we use this group app where anybody can find about our events, and there's like
nice.
formal for sure our events going on, but also informal chatter in there all the
That's
time.
nice.
Like, hey, struggling, and then they have the 175, 200 people in that chat, like that have eyes on them and can reach out.
I
on the
love
side.
that.
So that
And they can
happens.
also maybe look for flags.
Right.
You know, like if I don't know why I've gotten kind of, you know, I don't like the idea, but like I've worried about people that were gonna probably end their life and they ended up doing it. Like I saw the signs before it.
Right.
Like the calling out on like social media or something, the things they were saying, you know, you just really like, you can almost feel it's going to happen. And how do you stop? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's what's really cool about this, that maybe if somebody that I have seen in the past that happened, or somebody in the future that is going through something and they're not sure they're going to get through a night because they're scared or...
Well, and I think that's what like Speak Up, Reach Out is for, and I know they've got training.
Well, there
programs,
is that, but a lot of people, I know this is weird, but there's a stigma sometimes. People don't want to be thought of as that person, but they wouldn't mind being thought of as the person that is a little scared or something. But so sometimes people have, it's treacherous to think that they have to make that call to a suicide hotline when they think, oh, but there's maybe I'm not there, but I can go here. And then maybe it would road back to the hotline because that's where they ended up needing to be in the first place. But sometimes there's a buffer that people might need to get to the point where they really need to admit where they're at. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And I think, I think you do find that within Reconnected with, with any community, and sober community too, But yeah, I think that, just having this as a resource, like, of course, like you said, it's different for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has different needs. Everybody comes to sobriety in a different way. And so I think that's why I love that you guys are so varied in your programming. Like you said, I didn't realize that you only do 10% events and that the bulk of like the ice.
Yeah, I know. I didn't either. This is great.
Yeah. And
that's why we bring you on.
So many resources.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, we have hit an hour, actually over an hour, but I don't care. I'm really glad for it. And you guys can visit, first of all, Comcast Cable, Channel 5. We're on there. I've seen it. It's really cool. We're also on High Five Access Media's website. And as well, we're on YouTube. So it's going to be a really great thing for people to see this and get involved with Reconnected Foundation. How do people reach out to you guys? I'm sure that some people are already intrigued. So how do they reach out and find out more?
Yeah, so you can access like all of our events and info on reconnected.org.
Okay.
And then there's an info box if you want to sign up for
an info box.
Info.
Oh man, that was my nickname in high school.
So you can put your email in. We'll send you all our info and then nympho. And then Instagram is a great place to stay connected, like on a daily basis.
Stay connected with Reconnected.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
And if you have someone that is struggling, or you yourself are wanting to make a change, or just you're new to town, or you're new to the community, and you are in recovery, and you're looking for like a way to get tapped in, you can just always simply call our number.
Right. And you can just dip your toe in the water if you're nervous or you're not sure, because a lot of people are used to AA or, like that's it, or therapy. But this is such a better outlook for everybody because you don't have to feel weird around everybody because you're having a good time together. You're not there you're there for the therapy part, but you're not there to just focus on that. You're there to focus on things that can get your mind away from it.
Right.
And that's what I love about you guys. You're amazing. And you're still super, I don't know how old you are now, but you keep talking about when you were young. I had a bone crack while I was sitting here. But this is really incredible and good for you, the CEO. I love that. Yeah. No briefcase here because you don't need one. But I'm really proud to have you here as part of the chat box. Rob, Sharon. Now, do you have any more questions for Rob before we take off?
No, just thank you for being here and sharing all of this with our community and with our viewers. And I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do. Like, I really do. I feel like you're going to keep getting bigger and it's going to become more popular. And I love what you said about it, like also being just an entry point, like in joining a new community, where it is a safe space. And
that's
I
a
said
perfect
that
word,
safe.
Yeah,
but it truly is, it really is a safe space with people that are healthy-minded and that want to connect and do healthy things together. And I just think that is the perfect atmosphere for making any kind of connection, a lasting connection, and to feel, connected to your community. And so thank you for providing that for us and building that. Yeah, it's amazing.
That was perfect. Well, I don't know. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I've run out of things to say.
What?
Give me a nap. I'll be fine. You guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for tuning into the chat box. We are here for your mental health, your emotional well-being, and for anything you are struggling with. We come to you from High Five Access Media, this beautiful, beautiful podcast studio, just for us and just for you. If you would like to be a guest on the chat box, or if you would like to find out more information, you can always go to High Five Access Media, their website. I think it's highfiveaccessmedia.org. Yeah, good. Look at that. See,
Sounds fancy.
it sounds fancy and busy, but I really want to thank you so much for being here, Rob. Reconnected Foundation. It's a new way to become a new you and feel better about your world. Aw. Oh, I'm going to just make bumper stickers for you all night long. All right. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
thanks for
And
having
all
me.
the altruistic people come here on the chat box. We'll see you next time. Good night. Yay!